Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome back to the first session of our series. Have you truly reflected on the Quran? Before we begin our journey, let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever finished reading the Quran and still felt that some of it remained beyond your understanding? If your answer is yes, you are certainly not alone. Millions of Muslims around the world recite the Quran every day. Many complete it once every year, some several times. Yet many still ask, how can I understand what Allah is saying to me? This question is not new. In fact, the Quran itself asks a similar questions. It says, أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها? Translated, it says, do they not reflect upon the Quran, or are there locks upon their hearts? Notice carefully. The verse does not ask, do they not read the Quran? It asks, do they not reflect upon the Quran? Reading is essential. Reflection is the purpose. This also raises another question. If the Quran is meant for everyone, why do so many people find it difficult to understand? Is it because the Quran is difficult? Or is it because we often approach it without a clear method of how to read it? Throughout this series, we shall discover that understanding the Quran is not simply a matter of reading more. It is about learning how and what the Quran teaches. Like any great book, the Quran has its own language, its own style, its own way of developing ideas, and its own method of building concepts. Once we begin to recognize these patterns, many passages that once appeared disconnected begin to form one coherent message. So, let us begin our journey together, not with assumptions, but with open minds and humble hearts and a sincere desire to understand the words of our Creator. So, what does it really mean to reflect upon the Quran? Many people think reflection means reading slowly or reading with emotion. Both are valuable, but the Quran points to something much deeper. Reflection, or tadabbur in Arabic, is an active process. It is the effort to move beyond the words and to understand the message these words carry. It is the search for meaning, for wisdom, and for guidance. The Quran says, كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. Translation: This is a blessed book which we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, that they might reflect upon its verses and that those of understanding would be reminded. Notice the purpose of revelation, not merely recitation, not merely memorization, but reflection. Reflection begins with asking questions. Why this verse revealed? What is Allah teaching here? How does this passage connect with others? What does it tell us about God, about humanity, about life, and about ourselves? The remarkable thing is that the Quran encourages this kind of thinking. It repeatedly invites us to observe, to compare, to reason, and to learn. The more we reflect, the more we begin to see connections. Verses that once appeared separate begin to support one another. Concepts become clearer. Yet, reflection is not an end in itself. Its purpose is transformation. This is why true reflection always leads to action. It changes the way we think, the way we speak, the way we make decisions, and ultimately the way we live. This again raises an important question. Is reflection only for scholars, or can every Muslim reflect upon the Quran? The Quran itself gives us the answer. It says, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Translation: It says, and we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there anyone who is willing to reflect and learn from it? Notice that the invitation is open. It is not addressed only to scholars or teachers or specialists. It is addressed to everyone who sincerely seeks guidance. But this does not mean that every passage in the Quran or every person is qualified to interpret every verse independently. There is an important difference between reflection and between scholarly interpretation. Reflection begins by asking, what is Allah teaching me through these verses? Thus, every sincere reader can do this. Interpretation often asks, how can we establish this understanding using all available evidence? What exactly does this word mean? Which meaning is stronger? What is the grammatical construction in this verse? Was this verse revealed in a particular historical setting? And what legal implications follow? Thus, interpretation became a scholarly science. Think of it this way. A person can admire a beautiful garden, walk through it, and benefit from it and enjoys its beauty. A botanist, however, goes beyond that. He studies every plant, every species, and every detail of its design. Both see the same garden, but approach it at different levels of understanding. The Quran is similar. Its guidance is available to everyone. Its deeper academic study requires additional knowledge. Throughout this series, we shall learn how to allow the Quran itself to explain its major concepts. And this brings us to another important question. If the Quran explains its ideas across many different chapters, how can we discover the complete meaning of a single concept? We will try to answer this question in our next session. For now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ونراكم في حلقة جديدة إن شاء الله.